Nokia has announced the N8, the first Symbian 3 smartphone. Pitched very much at multimedia and photography, there's a 3.5-inch OLED capacitive touchscreen with multi-touch, plus the best camera ever put into a phone. 12 megapixels with a standalone class sensor, Carl Zeiss optics, full HD video recording with stereo audio, and a Xenon flash. Quite staggering. Also innovative are full HDMI output, Dolby Digital Plus sound, 5-band 3G, so it'll work anywhere in the world at full speed, and USB on the go, which lets the N8 be a host for the likes of USB hard disks and memory sticks. Plus all the usual 2010 baseline smartphone specs, amazingly for a SIM-free price of less than £400, so 20% less than the N97 when it launched. According to Strategy Analytics, Q1 2010 smartphone sales figures are in, with Nokia increasing their worldwide market share by a couple of percent year-on-year to 40% with their Symbian-based devices. RIM are still holding on to the number 2 slot with their Blackberries at 20%, the same as last year, while Apple are closing fast on 16%, up 6% year-on-year. Overall, smartphone shipments in Q1 2010 were 54 million units worldwide, up almost 50% year-on-year, not surprisingly. Palm, which I had thought dead in the water in terms of sales and finance, has been bailed out and bought out by HP for $1.2 billion. Let's see what HP can do with WebOS for 2011. So I'm here with Mark Anderson from Hiplogic. He's described as the chief action figure. What's that? When it's at home.
That means I'm the guy that's running around all over the place. It's a good substitute instead of the old boring CEO.
So there aren't any actual action figures people can collect? Or
no, not really. Not really. But when good things happen, they tell me I might be able to be promoted to chief action hero.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was actually created by part of the initial team that created J2ME, or Java on cell phones as we know it.
Okay.
But coming toward the mid-2000s, around 2005, what they discovered was that it became inherently limited in its capabilities in terms of being able to really interact with phone features, being able to take web feeds and mash those up with applications. So they decided to create a new platform, and one that would be really purpose-built for mobile, to be able to do all of the neat mashup types of activities and rich app experiences that could work not only on the highest end smartphones but across multiple platforms.
Okay.
The runtime is actually a native file format.
Okay.
But it's our platform running on top of a native file format. And the output for the platform is full rich applications and also widgets. And importantly, they also run in headless mode up in the cloud. And it's very interesting how we use this as an interface that is a runtime on the device, but also there's a lot of compression and data optimization and data gathering that's happening in the cloud, so that we can periodically send that down to the device, so that you've always got, as a user, you've got fresh information.
And it's very bandwidth efficient because it's all compressed, obviously.
Yes, it's highly compressed. It's very bandwidth efficient. We've spread to 185 countries since just releasing it very recently. Tremendous amount of activity across something like 400 plus operators. And so interestingly enough, we provide our platform for free, and what we've done for consumers is we packaged up an application called Hiplogic Live. Hiplogic Live comes with Facebook, Twitter. In the UK, it comes with Sky News, Sky Sports, and then you can go on to an app store and get more applications like 24/7 Football, Score Center Football, and Score Center Cricket. Now, when you're along getting those free applications, you also have the opportunity to buy games, even Java games, native applications that we house in our App Store. And our App Store is 18,000 titles. We've aggregated all of the content from our content aggregator partners like Handmark, GetJar, and Electronic Arts.
Okay, mainly Java titles again.
Some Java titles and some native titles, and then some titles that have been built on Hiplogic platform. Oh no, that's really one of the core benefits of the platform, is that we are taking the information and we're housing that in the cloud and pushing it down to the device on a periodic basis, based on whatever kind of application that you want. We do it in a really smart fashion so that it doesn't drain the battery and so that it's very efficient on the network. So, for example, if you have a WeatherBug, one of the applications that are built in Hiplogic, it will open up on a periodic basis and it will bring down a new weather feed. That weather update costs something like 300 to 400 bytes, not even kilobytes. Okay. So it's extremely efficient. And then at the same time, while we're getting your weather, we're pushing down also your Facebook updates, your Twitter updates, maybe some Sky Sport news, things like that. Updates to our core platform, the piece that sits in the cloud, are happening in real time. And then they appear to be happening real time on the phone, although it's really happening periodically. So we are developing it for Android, something that we're really excited about. Now, Android itself is a very powerful platform, and so what do we bring to the table? Well, we have this notion of phone top notifications and the ability to see information that is happening in real time on the phone top, and we can actually do that in a fashion that matches up different kinds of content. So imagine a screen that could be perhaps used as your idle screen, or maybe it's a swipe to the left or a swipe to the right, and it providing everything from weather to your social feed update to your news update to your calendar, all happening on one screen. Yeah, so the news stories are actually cached. So if you run into an area where there's no coverage and if you're able to access the application, then you can click on the stories and see full stories. So we typically don't send the user out to the web, so connectivity is not necessary in that case. It's not a sync platform per se, however it does cache, and so whatever's been cached on the device you'll be able to access.
So having watched this interview, where can people get hold of Hiplogic for Symbian and other platforms?
It's really easy. They can either come to hiplogic.com with their PC or Mac and type in their phone number, or the easiest way, from the phone, from your mobile browser, go to m.hiplogic.com. It takes you right to a download page, and it's a free download.
I think that makes a huge difference to the E71. It's white, and the keys legends stand out much better. On the black one, I used to struggle to see them. Cracking little.
I used to love them. It was 500 quid.
But then decent camera, but why doesn't it have a normal flash? It's beyond me.
What's the secret password?
No, that's not it.
Is it easy if you go there?
I don't.
But the resolution,
it's quite different in
the
size,
trouble is the resolution of the screen on that is so fine. It's like it's like using the
kind of similar height, aren't they?
As soon as you start using the screen for websites, you can't read it.
That's probably like iPhone width, isn't
every
it?
single time you got to
I think it's far off
to try and read it.
But it's interesting.
Well, what's nice about the 5800 is it's kind of narrow.
Hold on then, Nick, say what you think about the N900.
Like your thumb. I like the structure there.
And if you want to look into the task manager, that's what that is, and you can close, these are all live, and you can open and close new tasks. If you want to go to the menu to look at sub-menus and other applications, you have to press that top corner again, and then you hit this more button to go down for even more, and that's
oh my god, so you hit more again, I thought we'd...
So, but the new version of the firmware for the Mavo 5 is going to be they're going to reorganise that, so you don't have that more button anymore, so that's much better. So you can see, like, Angry Birds is there, and you can... The only trouble is that I think you'll probably find that all the levels are finished.
It's got a dead sim in it, one that's not on the network, you have to have a sim in it to make it run.
Oh, have you? Yeah. Fantastic.
It makes me laugh. The N95 I didn't touch it, all the graphics shit.
I know.
Oh, I remember this. This is all nostalgia. And it's not really that old, is it?
Put the bin out.
Put the bin out. The bin's out. Here is basically a unibody. It's like an Apple product. And the whole of this thing is encased in metal. And so it seems like the radios are all in the bottom end there. And so consequently, the signal is rubbish. The 3G and the Wi-Fi, in my experience, are just the poorest of all the phones I've used.
You're offering advantage with plastic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's why the original iPhone had a metal back, and the next one, the 3G and the 3GS, would all have plastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that, you know, all of that plastic, okay, it's not as pretty, but it works so much better.
As ever, I want to keep you on your toes. Recommending smartphones is a very subjective thing, and no two people's requirements are the same. However, I do have a top 5 for you, hopefully something for everyone. I've tried to vary the form factor and budget as much as possible. Note that all prices quoted are for SIM-free or on pay-as-you-go, for ease of comparison. Several smartphones just missed the cut, in that I didn't feel I could honestly recommend them right now. The HTC Touch Pro 2, lovely device, but the OS is dead and buried now. The Samsung i910, great hardware, but messing around with firmware builds is getting too geeky even for me. The Nokia N8, great in every way, but too old, too complex, and now discontinued. The Motorola Milestone, too clunky keyboards, very poor. The HTC Legend, battery oddities, smallish screen. The Nokia N8, a super camera, xenon flash, but the screen is just too small and too dim. The Nokia N96, iPhone HD styling, yes, and super convergence, but underpowered and way too much plastic. And just about any BlackBerry. I just can't engage with the OS or the ecosystem. Maybe it's me. But at number 5, the Nokia N86, described by most as the final and ultimate incarnation of the N95 style dual slider form factor. If you can live with a 2.6-inch quarter VGA screen, then this smartphone has just about everything, including superlative video capture, as you're seeing right now. You can pick it up for around £280, new and unlocked. At number 4 is the Nokia E72. Fans of big screen smartphones will hate the 2.4-inch display, but the overall form factor is stunningly pocketable and usable. The camera is great now and the battery life is phenomenal, and it's only £240, brand new and unlocked if you shop around. At number 3 is the HTC Desire, or Google Nexus 1, essentially the same device with a 3.7-inch OLED screen and all the Google goodness of Android and its ecosystem. The Desire has the hardware buttons and Sense UI. The Nexus 1 is more seamless and has more immediate OS updates. It's your choice, but both come highly recommended, even at the more expensive price of just less than £400 all in. Now, the development of the human race, our very development as people, is down to the struggle for self-improvement, the battles we take on and overcome, or as Miley Cyrus puts it, the climb. For a phone head like me, this means all the handsets I've just mentioned to some degree, or my number 2 in particular, the Nokia N97 or N97 Mini, depending on taste and memory specs. See my treatise on the N97 over All About Symbian. Here's the URL. It's the complete antithesis to the Apple iPhone. You need tech knowledge to set it up and keep it going. It's a labour of love. It's a mini computer in your pocket, and it'll deliver more raw overall functionality than any other piece of converged electronics on the planet. Price again is around £400 new, but it's old enough, and the N97's reputation is such that you can pick it up for half this price on eBay if you look around. Bargain. Or you opt for the simple life with my number 1, the Apple iPhone 3GS. Zero struggle, zero personal development, zero hassle, and zero geek fun, because it will all just work. Admittedly within the bounds of Apple's ecosystem, but that's large enough. Slick apps, fast games, great hardware with one of the best screens in all light conditions. Price, if you have to ask, you probably can't afford it. Starting at around £450 on pay-as-you-go and upwards from there, SIM-free. Mind you, if you're a tech fan and want a challenge, I guess you could always jailbreak it.